Welcome to the CMS Unit 6 Family Video for 4th Grade Mathematics. I am LaQuanda Gilmore, an Elementary Curriculum Math Specialist. This video is designed to answer 3 big questions about Unit 6. What content is my child learning in Unit 6? In class, how is my child learning the Unit 6 content? And what can I do at home to support? 4th grade Unit 6 is titled Multiplying and Dividing Multi-Digit Numbers. In this unit, students extend what they already know about multiplication and division to find products and quotients of multi-digit numbers. Unit 6 has 22 lessons, which are taught in 4 sections. Section A, lessons 1 through 4, focus on patterns. Section B, lessons 5 through 12, are all about multi-digit multiplication. Section C, lessons 13 through 20's focus is on multi-digit division, and in the last section, Section D, lessons 21 through 22, students apply prior learning to problem solve with large numbers. Unit 6 begins on February 18th and ends March 27th. The multiplication and division learning that will take place in Unit 6 is considered major work of the grade level, which means there is a considerable amount of time spent focusing deeply on the topic so that students gain a strong foundation and conceptual understanding, so that students are able to apply the math that they learn to solve problems both inside and outside of the classroom. In 3rd grade, building on their prior work with repeated addition and rectangular arrays, students began applying properties of multiplication, including commutative, associative, and distributive properties. Students learned that they could find the value of a product by decomposing one factor into smaller parts, finding partial products, and then combining those partial products. To support this reasoning, they use base 10 diagrams and arrays. In Unit 6, students use those understandings to apply up to 3-digit by single-digit numbers and to multiply a pair of 2-digit numbers. In the first section, lessons 1 through 4, students analyze both number and shape patterns. They use ideas related to multiplication, such as factors, multiples, double, and triple, to describe and extend patterns. In this section, students observe and describe features of geometric and numerical patterns. Given the rule of a pattern, they predict the values or features of future terms in a pattern sequence. To make predictions, students use their understanding of operations and place value. This section begins with patterns that are more concrete, such as shapes with features that change quantitatively and thus elicit addition or multiplication. It then moves towards patterns with repeating objects or numbers, which require students to reason more abstractly. Later, students explore patterns in features of rectangles, side length, perimeter, and area that change by a rule. Along the way, students apply their understanding of factors and multiples. In the next section, lessons 5 through 12, students multiply 1-digit numbers and numbers up to 3 digits and pairs of 2-digit numbers. They learn to use increasingly more efficient methods to multiply. Students begin by using visual representations, arrays, base 10 diagrams, and grids to help them find products. They recall that rectangles can be used to represent multiplication, with the side lengths representing the factors and the area representing the products. Students see that it helps to decompose or break apart the factors by place value. For example, to multiply 31 and 15, we can think of the 31 as 30 and 1 and the 15 as 10 and 5. We can then label these values on a diagram, multiply the parts separately, and add the partial products. Students begin by using visual representations, arrays, base 10 diagrams, and grids to help them find products. The base 10 example shown here on the screen reinforces what students learned in 3rd grade about number of equal groups and group size. They can visually see that there are 4 equal groups of 36 to give them a total of 144. They recall that rectangles can be used to represent multiplication, with the side lengths representing the factors and the area representing the product. In the area model seen here at the bottom of the screen, the side lengths serving as factors are 135 and 3. Students multiply in more manageable place value parts and compile all of their partial products together to arrive at a product. Later, students use an algorithm that lists partial products vertically. This work prepares them to make sense of the standard algorithm for multiplication that is to be studied closely in grade 5. In Section C, lessons 13 through 20, students divide larger numbers up to 3 digits, explore new division strategies, and interpret division situations that involve remainders. Students began by solving various problems that involve division, including those about equal groups, factors and multiples, and area of rectangles. They recall that an expression such as 48 divided by 8 can be used to find how many groups of 8 are in 48, or to find the size of one group if 48 are put into 8 equal groups, connecting what they know about multiplication, number of groups, and group size from 3rd grade. Students see that just as they can multiply two numbers by decomposing the factors and finding partial products, they can divide by decomposing the dividend, the number being divided, and finding partial quotients. The example on the screen shows how a student can use facts that they know off the top of their head to break apart the number being divided again into those manageable parts. This student chose to break apart 89 into 2 groups of 10 because tens were easy for them to think about mentally, but those 2 groups of 10 only amounted to 140, and they needed a total of 189. Knowing that they had 49 more to go, because 189 minus 140 equals 49, they knew 7 groups of 7 was equivalent to 49, which gave them their total of 189. Thinking about place value and the relationship between multiplication and division can help students with the concept of division. Students then learn to organize partial products using equations and an algorithm or method that records division vertically. In the last section, lessons 21 and 22, students solve a variety of problems that involve all 4 operations, applying what they know about addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division with multi-digit numbers. These numbers can be approached in many ways, allowing students to choose their methods and representations strategically. Many of the problems students engage in during this section also involve having to complete 2 steps in order to solve. Near the end of the unit, ask your student to solve the following problems: 16 multiplied by 48 and 324 divided by 6. Questions that may be helpful as they work: can you draw a diagram to help you solve the problem? Can you explain the steps of your algorithm? Thank you, families, for joining us for our 4th grade mathematics family video. Thank you for partnering with us at home. We are confident that with your encouragement and support, our young mathematicians will gain a wealth of knowledge and develop a strong foundation in mathematics this year. For more elementary math resources, you can visit the CMS site. Thank you and have a great year.